Home is a place.
No, no, no. Home is a feeling.
Home is my motherland.
It's more where you feel alive and inspired.
Well, I think we're talking about the same thing, aren't we? Home is where our story begins.
What's your story?
Homesick at Home every Friday from 9 to 10 p.m.
On Radio Van 103.1 with Ina MK
and Rina D.
Shot City. I'm coming home again.
Our Friday night English speaking show on Radio Van 103.1 with amazing Rina D and
Ina.
Ina.
How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
A bit tired.
Yeah, we all are tired of viruses around, flying around the city, but we hope that this period is over for Yerevan, and we wish everybody to stay safe, warm, and healthy. And our guest tonight is the founder and executive director of the Music of Armenia, Hasmik Movsisian. Hello, Hasmik.
Hello.
How are you?
Tired. And full of viruses.
Okay. We feel each other.
We have a special night. It's a ladies' night, Friday night, ladies' night here tonight.
Yep.
And we're ready to hear your story.
Which one?
From the very beginning. So, where were you born? Where do you live?
We going that much
Of
back?
course.
We can.
A little bit of
You have
background.
time.
What do you do here? Do you live in Armenia?
I live in
Etc.
Armenia. I actually, I've been living in Armenia for almost 2 years. This April, it will be exactly 2 years since I decided to come to Armenia. Initially, I thought I would live here for 6 months, and then I would go back to London for 6 months, and then I would come back here. But then that plan got scrapped, and I stayed here. And I did go back to London in November, thinking, I probably would stay there for a while, say about 4 months. And the third day, I purchased my ticket back because I realized I didn't want to be in London and that I wanted to be based in Yerevan because I love Yerevan so much, or Armenia, should I say. And so I literally made myself stay in London so that I would welcome New Year's Eve with my family because I hadn't seen them for over a year and a half. And then right after New Year's Eve, I came back to Armenia.
Okay, so were you born here?
I was born here,
Actually.
but I grew up in Prague. And in 1998, there was this program in Czech schools that you could go and study English in London and stay with a family. I went there and I fell in love with London. I fell in love with English. And I said to myself, this is where I'm going to be living and working. I was very young and I kind of thought, as you're a young kid, you think that's just a wishful thinking.
Yeah.
But then it did become true. I studied English and I moved to London. And my first job was that I was working at the American Embassy in London. And I was also a governmental interpreter from English to Czech. And it was later, a few years later, that I realized I wasn't very happy working, for the government, and that I loved music and the arts. So I kind of changed my career to be in the music industry with the cool people, with the cool bunch.
So how did this all start, Music of Armenia?
Very, very interesting story. Two reasons. At that time, I was dating a gentleman who was a music manager in the UK music industry, and we kept touring and we kept going to places, and I was helping them with marketing and PR, and that is when I truly realized how passionate I was about what I was doing. And so I decided to proceed on a more professional level. So I studied university in London, specifically specializing in music marketing and events management. And at this time Facebook is becoming really huge, and I was looking for a song about the Armenian genocide that I could share on Facebook so that my British friends would know about my heritage and about my culture and the Armenian issue. And I came across Armin's Open Wounds. You might know him from LA.
Yes.
And I absolutely fell in love with his work, and I listened to a few more things, and I thought, wow, this guy is so good. So I showed his stuff to the people I was working with in London, and I said, next time we need a rapper, we're going to contact this guy. And I contacted him online, and I said, look, would you want me to be a representative in Europe? And he said yes. So for 6 months I was helping him, and we were promoting his work in Britain. And one day I was lying down and thinking, what else can I do to help this guy even more? And then I thought, why am I not helping everybody? And this is when Music of Armenia was born. And I actually remember I went to a business consultancy company called ABC Associates. And I presented them my business idea, and I won an award for the best business idea. And on 17th of October 2008, musicofarmenia.com was born. Now you know this because you were part of it from day one as a musician. At that time you weren't living in Armenia. And initially, musicofarmenia.com was meant to be the Armenian version of MySpace, where musicians would have their pages and they would interact with other musicians from around the world, network, collaborate, and so on and so on. But very soon, it was a matter of a few months, we also started, branching out into events management and project management and consultancy and artist management and so on and so on. And this year, we're going to celebrate our 10th anniversary. Oh my goodness, 10 years. That means that I'm 10 years
Where's
older.
the party? Where is the party, Hasmik?
We're still working on. We don't know what we're gonna do. This is where it gets really tricky. We don't know whether we should do 10 concerts in 10 different countries.
Wow.
Or 10 concerts in Yerevan. Or one huge party. So maybe we can have some ideas here. Huh?
Okay,
Let's do some brainstorming.
keep this in mind. keep the intrigue, because we're gonna have a little break, and then we'll come back, and maybe we'll do a little brainstorming during this
That would be
break.
great.
Okay, stay tuned. This is Homesick at Home. Our guest is Hasmik Movsisian. We're gonna discover more of her after the break.
Ina. Yes, Rena.
I feel homesick.
You want to talk about it?
This Friday,
Every Friday on Radio Van.
homesick at home. Homesick at home.
And we're back in our studio with Hasmik Movsisian. This is Homesick at Home. And for those of you who don't have the opportunity to listen to us with the frequency, you can go online. Our application is available, Radio Van, and you also can watch us live on our official Facebook page, radiovan.fm 103.1. And we're back speaking with Hasmik about maybe Armenia? No?
We didn't have enough time to brainstorm, but we'll be doing that later on, for sure.
Yeah, but all of you just be aware that a big party is coming up.
Yes.
And we will definitely let you know when we have some information.
And actually, I have something to say. The first time I met Hasmik was in 2011.
Either 11 or 12.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I knew that you were based in London, but I knew about the work that you were doing here. Actually, we organized something together, I remember. And she was one of the reasons that kind of convinced me more to come and stay here.
Oh, really?
Because
no, we need to say thank you.
we need a lot more people like you here,
Thank
coming
you,
back,
Rena.
or just coming. That's very important, especially in the music industry here.
Thank you very much. I'm honored. It's a pleasure, and I'm happy that I've known you for so long. You're a humble soul, very humble, very modest, and always very encouraging and supportive. And so I'm happy that we did the concert together with Vagan Hairapetian.
Yes.
It was a wonderful evening. It was fully sold out. It was very hot. I remember, and you know,
Yes.
people were standing because the chairs. We ran out of chairs because it was
Wow.
sold out. Yeah,
Great.
it was a great night.
Yes. So, if I can ask a question,
Oh,
it
this
might
sounds
be
like
very
it's tricky.
typical. No,
No, not really. Not yet.
It's a very simple question, but I'd like to hear your answer to
Okay.
it. Music, what does it mean for you?
Okay, I'm gonna have to get really philosophical here because I believe that music is above us and beyond us, and I think we create music. I believe music creates us.
Wow.
And you know how they say music is what feelings would sound like.
Wow.
You
I
cannot.
like that.
Thank you. You cannot explain with words what music is. To me, personally, it's air. It's my oxygen. It gives me everything. It gives me motivation. It gives me meaning. It gives me a reason to be on this planet. They always say that music managers are frustrated musicians because they're talentless, and I think in my case it's absolutely spot on because I feel in my heart I'm a talentless rock star.
Wow.
If I were to be born again, I'd definitely choose to be a drummer in a rock band. But then if somebody said, no, come on, you're asking for too much now, I'd be like, I'm fine with bass.
That's
I'm
the,
like, I'm
that's
fine with
the only
bass.
discount.
Yeah, as if that is anyhow that any less better, right? But yeah, I would die to be a drummer. I mean, can you imagine the
I'm
groupies I
And
would
you
get?
would just throw away that hat and
Yes,
go.
and this is, I'm going to make a confession, official confession, public confession. We all know about the girl Erna, Voices of Artsakh. I mean, this girl,
Yeah.
when
Yeah, she's
she's
amazing.
on the drums,
Yeah.
I'm seriously jealous of her. I'm seriously jealous of her because that is what a true rock star is like to me. A girl, she's trouble. You know, she's trouble.
I mean, I kind of decided this year to learn the drums. It's either the guitar or the drums, but I think I'll do both together. But
I'll join you right now.
I really want to do
All
it.
or nothing.
I will join you with pleasure.
Yeah, the beats, the rhythm, it's part of life.
Okay, can I ask another question? The next one.
Depends.
Scared?
I don't know. Should I be?
No, not
You're
yet.
asking me. Don't ask me.
You don't know.
No, don't ask me.
Okay, let's ask a bit of professional questions. How did you earn your first salary?
Oh, you want to go back that much?
Yeah.
We're going back.
Yeah, what told you?
The very, very first salary. Are we talking about when I made money, or because I've been a businesswoman ever since I remember? Are we talking about
the very
salary,
first...
as in like salary, or when I made money from?
Yeah,
business?
made money. Made money.
Okay, I think I was.
When did you ever receive money in return for your work? Doesn't matter what it was.
Okay, on a more official level, I was 15. I was babysitting in the Czech Republic. Because as you know, that's very acceptable
Yes.
when you look after somebody else's children. And then on a more solid level, I remember it was when I was working as an interpreter for lawyers in London for human rights. I think I was 19. And this is... I'm not going to say the
what was
year,
the
because if I
language?
say the year, I'm giving away. It's
Okay.
many years ago. And I was making £15 an hour. That is, even to this day, that's a lot of money. But I remember how I was so rich as a kid. And I felt so proud because I was working with people that were 40, 50. These are like lawyers, proper lawyers. And then there was me interpreting and making my 15 pounds an hour. At that time, it was...
And what was the languages you were...
it was English and Czech.
Wow.
It was English and Czech, two-way interpreting, which means, from both sides, as well as translation. Because some of the refugees or whoever I was working with didn't know how to write in English, so it was both. I was very proud of myself because I was doing what I was loving, which was, as I said, I loved English, so I studied it on a professional level. And also the money that I was earning made me feel really worthy, and I felt really responsible from an early age because I had a responsible job. And then after that, when I was working at the American Embassy in London, that became even more. So I became mature very early, and now I'm doing the other way. I'm going the other way. Now I'm the ultimate student.
Yeah, by the way, what do you do for fun? Any games you love to play?
Okay, so what we need to know here is that my father is a very ambitious person, and he made sure that his both daughters were occupied at all times. And I was a professional gymnast from the age of 5 until 15. I was a competing gymnast. My first salary. Yes,
she remembered.
I remembered. My first salary was when, this is communist Armenia. I'm talking about many, many years when I competed as a gymnast, and I earned 100 rubli from the Soviet Union.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
I was at the age of 10. I was earning salary by being a gymnast. I remember now. By every time competing, that was my first salary, to be honest.
Rena, this is what I love about our show. It's like people sometimes are discovering or remembering things that they even
didn't know,
themselves. Right? Yeah.
So my time to play games was very limited, but I was always with the boys, always. And I wouldn't be with the dolls. I'd be skating or up to some kind of trouble that other people didn't approve of.
A tomboy.
Tomboy. I was
I
was a very much tomboy, very much, up to the age of about 17.
Yeah.
So having such
I
a
can relate to
diverse, I wonder, being the host of the show, which is called Homesick at Home, and you as a guest having such a diverse geography, where is your home at the end of the day? Is there a place where you don't feel homesick?
Armenia, obviously. I always say I am a human being first, then I'm a woman, then I'm Armenian. But undoubtedly, although I consider myself a citizen of this planet, and yes, I grew up in Prague, so I'm very much connected to the Czech culture or the culture of the continent. Then I've been living in Britain for almost 20 years. That makes me quite Anglo whatever, right? But I cannot deny, even if I tried really hard to pretend that I'm not Armenian, it would be so obvious how Armenian I am. And if I have to pin down one location on this planet where I genuinely inhale and exhale and I say I'm home, it's definitely Armenia. Definitely.
Oh. Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of people feel this way. Some people who were actually born here, but others who were born in different places, or even foreigners who come and visit. They do have this feeling. I think it's a different kind of energy here. I don't know how to explain it.
Do you feel the energy?
Do I feel the energy? Rena, do you
What's
feel
going
the
on
energy?
here?
What's going on here?
I just remembered the conversation we had back there.
Which one? Because there were a few. Which one?
Does your pajamas have Armenian ornaments? Yeah.
They don't, but
Ta-da. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll use it in the picture later.
And my tattoo is in Armenian. This is before I moved here. I got it in Armenian because obviously I lived abroad, so I wanted something Armenian, and also I didn't want them to understand what it said, yet if they looked, they would know that, oh, she's from somewhere with history. Now people can know exactly what it is, so it's kind of lost the meaning. So I'm thinking of maybe changing my tattoo, but
what does it say?
it's my name in Armenian.
Okay.
Yeah. So, so people obviously here, they can read my name, but, abroad, they always say, what does it mean? What does it mean?
So you weren't thinking about living here back then?
I
When you
probably
got that
didn't think
tattoo.
I probably didn't think I would be living here. I probably thought I would be always in Europe or somewhere. I didn't consider, but I remember how it was during my first visit in 2009 when I came here with Music of Armenia, and I was literally one of those people. Oh my God, Ararat, and I was here for 10 days meeting all the musicians to introduce Music of Armenia to them and to kind of set it up and everything, and I felt like I didn't want to go back to London at all, and I needed to take something with me of Armenia. And and I was thinking to have a tattoo, and I couldn't decide what it. I knew I didn't want anything cheesy or obvious like Nur or Ararat or whatever. And I thought for a long time, and in the morning of the day
You could
when
have
I was
kebab.
kebab,
Chalagaj.
Chalagaj, Ashtaragi.
Dolma.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't want any of that's very creative, but I kind of
I
thought,
know, I
She
know.
doesn't want to brainstorm with us anymore now.
I thought maybe in my next lifetime, yeah. So in the morning of the day I was meant to get the tattoo, I woke up and I kind of thought, I'm getting my name in Armenian because a few months prior to my visit, we were shooting a video in London, and one of the dancers had her name written in Arabic because her dad was Lebanese. And I remember how I thought, oh, that's really nice. She has her heritage, whatever. So I kind of thought, same philosophy, except that now it's kind of,
That's
now
also
here.
very creative. Very.
Shush.
Very original.
You be shush. I wanted piece of Armenia with me. I took piece
I've
of
never
Armenia
seen
with
someone
me.
with this kind of idea.
But not with Armenian names. You wouldn't see people in London with Armenian names on them tattooed. You definitely go and say, "Oh my God, you're Armenian."
Can you imagine people with Armenian name tattoos in China? That's
That's also right. Yeah, that's also yeah.
Well, okay, we're of course joking, and we'll have to see your tattoo. Where is it, by the way?
It's at the back of my neck,
Okay,
under my hair.
Okay.
You'll show it
It's
after
hidden.
the show.
It's hidden, so that only special people see it.
Okay.
Or when it's really hot. And I put my
Special
hair
people in summer.
Special summer people.
So Hasmik, I mean, the Music of Armenia, a lot of people know about Music of Armenia. We love what you do
Thank you.
for us, for this country, for others. And tell us about Music of Armenia,
More.
because I want people to know more and more about this.
With pleasure. As I already said at the beginning, it was initially only meant to be a website. I did have ambitious plans, but I didn't think it would become an international organization and an international brand. And for many years, it was a registered company in the UK. So we were a British brand and British organization. And even if Armenians were anywhere in the world, for example, when in 2014-15, Armenia was a country of honor at Midem in Cannes, we went there as a British organization, And when I came to Armenia, it was one of the missions or my aims or goals that I had to do something that would bring Music of Armenia home. And so we established it here as an NGO. So we are now Music of Armenia Մշակութային Հասարակական Կազմակերպություն.
Yeah, congratulations.
And-
is that a good thing?
It's a very good thing.
Okay.
It's a very good thing because, well, for many reasons. First of all, to be able to use the word Armenia, we had to get special permission.
Yeah, right.
Only when you justified that you really, really, prove worthy to use the word Armenia, and unanimously it was approved that we can use it. So that was special because it kind of was a seal, like Armenia saying, yes, we love what you do, you can use it.
Yes.
And second, that it was the same when I got my Armenian passport. I have more powerful passports, I have British residency, whatever, I can go wherever. But when I got my Armenian passport, I cried. I cried so much. So it kind of felt like I'm home. And when we got the certificate that we are registered as a company, as an organization in Armenia, we posted it everywhere. And I remember how I even mentioned that it meant more to me than when we were registered in Britain. Although obviously some people might think, oh, it's more prestigious to have a company in Britain, you know, because we started off as an international brand with international contacts and international approaches and methods. You know it very well because you knew it from the beginning. So, you know, somebody would think that's going backwards, really, you know, opening a branch in Armenia or whatever. But to me, it had a bigger meaning. And now, this is something that I'm extra proud of, and not just because we've achieved it, but because Armenia has achieved it. Music of Armenia is the first and only organization to have ever become a member of the International Music Council and the European Music Council. International Music Council was established in 1949 by UNESCO, and is the world's biggest organization that has the biggest number of music organizations representing their countries. And we're the only organization that has ever joined or entered, and is currently the only organization representing Armenia in the world. So with that responsible fact that we are members of IMC and EMC, we have to keep the standards of everything we do on that level. You know, this is UNESCO we're talking about. This is, you know, world-class organizations and so on and so on. So it makes our work so much more meaningful to everybody who works with us. So the musicians feel like we take this very seriously, you know, and wherever we go, you come with us, you know, including our projects and whatever. So yeah, I'm very proud of our achievements, and this is just the beginning. Honestly, I mean, this is just the beginning.
That's the spirit.
I love this positive attitude.
Yeah, that's the spirit.
Could you give some advice to people who are just starting some certain, I don't know, work, or they have certain dreams? How to keep this positive attitude that this is, you know, just the beginning, and the best is yet to come, and how to overcome all the difficulties on the way.
That's a wonderful question. Thank you. And I hope that my words, I mean, I'm not one of those people that go on TED or whatever to speak to, you know, influence or whatever, right? But if you're going to ask me that wonderful question, I'm going to share my personal experience with people, and I hope that
exactly what we want.
Yeah, and I hope that some people will kind of put it into perspective and, you know, make their own decisions and judge the situation. When I initially came up with the idea of Music of Armenia, a lot of people, 99% of people said, oh, it's never going to work. Oh, you shouldn't waste your time with that, because I was working at the American...
always such
right,
people.
of course. The biggest issue was that because I was working at the American Embassy, making really good money, you know, living in central London, you know, for a lot of people, they were thinking, why would you leave such a job to start what? You know, like they kind of thought that being in the music industry meant you were just going to be nothing or nobody. I don't know. So there was a lot of discouraging energy. But just like my father, I've always done what I felt was right for me and what I believed in. And even if that was, you know, that I had to break, you know, walls of tradition or whatever. Same when we were living in Prague, I was very young when I decided I'm moving to London all by myself. You know, and my father didn't have a say whether I could do it or not, because it was my choice and I did it. And he's very proud. And actually, he lives in London now. I opened the door. My family lives in London. So, Mike, I'm going to ask you a question. Can you imagine if I was stupid and I listened to those people who said it's never going to work, and I did not do it? What would have happened?
A lot of people do that.
Music of Armenia would not have existed. All those people we have helped, all those things we have done would have never come to life.
Yeah, by the way, we want to know all this, not all of it because we don't have time, but could you a little bit open the...
Yeah, of course.
The details.
Believe in yourself, definitely. I always say, as the British say, keep calm and carry on, literally. If you know what you're doing and where you're going, that is all you need to know. Okay? And when people say to you, it's not going to work, you can't do it, it's usually they're projecting their own fears and their own capabilities into you. Because they know they would never be able to do that. So they think you can't do it either. You know, there's a saying, it says, stay away from little people. They will always belittle you. Surround yourself with great people because they themselves believe that you too somehow can be great.
That's beautiful.
I'm writing down.
So
Can you say it
surround
again?
yourself with positive people who bring value
That
to
is
your life.
important.
If you need advice or, you know, kind of affirming whether or confirming whether what you're doing is right, go to people who understand what you're doing. Don't just ask anybody. 99% of the people will not understand what you're doing. You know what I mean? They might not be from that profession or industry. So if it is that you do need advice, go to people who understand and they can give you constructive criticism rather than bring you down or give you wrong advice. And you need persistency. Just like in everything. Even in normal life, you need to get up and have the energy to carry on. It's the same. You need to be persistent.
So true.
You need to constantly educate yourself, evolve, you know, open up your networks, collaborate. We love collaborating. You've seen how many people will collaborate with, you know, from across genres and disciplines. And I think this is why people love us so much and, you know, what we do, because we're not a closed-off organization. You know, we're not holding it dear to us. Quite the opposite. When people come to us, the first thing we ask, is it a collaboration or no? Because we don't want anybody commissioning us to do something. We want to create it together, co-create it. So, yeah, surround yourself with people who believe in you or who want to believe in you. Because, you know, what if people are jealous of what you can do?
course,
And they're just,
of
yeah.
course.
That
Yeah,
can
by the
be-
way, you spoke about these people who influenced you somehow and helped you to believe in yourself. Can you name one person who was one of the most important? Well, I personally noticed the influence of your dad
I
in
was
your
gonna say
life.
the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if
like
besides
other
him,
people, you know, I
who
have
is
to
that
say,
second other person who has had big influence?
there
on your
wouldn't
life?
be just one person, one other person, just only one. There have been a lot of people, and I you know, I hope nobody will get offended if I'm not mentioning everybody, because honestly, there have been so many people. But there are two people currently in my life that I would like to mention because I have huge respect for them. Tremendous depth of love for them. And one person is Lee Warren, who is our board member who lives in London. He was there with me from the beginning, supporting and encouraging and always being very positive and incredibly proud of me and always saying that, you know, I'm one of the most hardworking people he's ever met. And the second person will be Jacob, our board member from New York, who is actually currently now in Yerevan if he's watching. Hello, Jacob. Jacob gives me so much energy to just be like a stvat.
Okay.
You know, like a stvat in a way, like whatever you need, just tell me. And he's so proud of me, and he's so encouraging. You know, he's by my side.
So
all
you're
the time.
spoiled.
I am spoiled.
Okay, this is
Unlucky.
the second question that comes after when the people ask me, "Oh, you're an only child, so you're spoiled." And I'm like, okay.
Hasmik, being a woman in this industry or in what you are doing, does that have advantages or disadvantages? What would have changed what would have changed if you weren't? Or why is it important that you are?
Imagine your question is so beautiful and has so many layers. Where do I start?
Please don't start.
She's gonna do it again.
Yeah, because it has many layers. Okay,
Is it a break time? Are we having a break?
it has too many layers, so we need to take a deep breath, have a little break, and then
And
come
get ready
back
for layers.
to listen to this beautiful, multi-talented, and amazing
Lekastvat.
and Lekastvat and spoiled business lady Hasmik. Stay tuned. This is Homesick at Home.
Աղջի Ռենա, ո՞նց ես։
Ina, I thought this was an English-speaking show.
Բայ խայտարակ եղա. Are we on air?
Yes, every Friday night.
Homesick at home.
Khaydaragera.
Bolorov, because we're on air. Okay, we're back on air. We're here for another 20 minutes only. Okay.
Oh no!
Yeah,
that was quick.
This is never enough for such interesting.
You can come back for another.
With
episode.
pleasure.
guests like Hasmik.
Pleasure.
And yes, let's go back to our layers. Okay.
Our layers. Well, Renajan, to answer your question, I always say that, as I mentioned, I always see myself as female as second because I see myself as a just human being. But I always say that I would probably not have been so proud of myself had I not been a woman, having achieved whatever I have achieved in life. However, I've never considered the factor that I'm a woman a factor. Never. I've always seen myself as a human being. Never thought, oh, I can't do it because I'm a girl or a woman. You know how some people think, oh, I can't because I'm a girl, they won't let me or whatever. I never did. And I think that attitude makes men take you seriously. I've been at meetings when I sat down with CEOs of company and I discussed something and then they said, you can go back to your boss and tell him we agreed. And I'm saying, like, I am the boss. There is no one above me because they thought I was probably just the secretary or, the assistant or whatever, So, but then they very soon realized they're dealing with a boss lady. And, as I said, so I don't particularly make the difference or differentiate the fact that I'm a woman or not. However, I do everything with my work to empower women or girls, not in an aggressive way or in a obvious way or tacky way, quiche way, but in a very subtle way. So I don't empower them to say you're better than men or whatever. I just say be proud that you're a woman because it's a beautiful fact. We are beautiful creatures, and this is why maybe it brings me to my upcoming project, which I initiated, which is Women's Musical Month. Կանանց երաժշտական միամսյակ. And symbolically, as you would, gather and put together, it starts on the 8th of March and closes on the 7th of April. And for 5 weeks, we're going to have different projects from a masterclass to Meet the Musician to an event dedicated to a lady who's celebrating her anniversary to 2 concerts. So we will have 3 events in Yerevan, 2 of them in Dilijan.
Who can participate?
Girls and women of all generations. And within the frameworks of this project, we are also giving away fully paid scholarships for 1 year to girls from the age of 12 to 17. And I have to go back to Jacob because I had a meeting with him before I came here and he's agreed to increase the budget of the fellowship, which means more girls can get the funding. And it has a bit of sentimental value to him because his late grandfather, Nerses Yahyayan, was a violinist. So, he also feels that, he's honoring his memory as well as, contributing to the cause. So,
This is fantastic.
Yeah, so I'm surrounded with great people. Jacob has a company here as well, Continental Eurasia. And, he's also sponsoring our office space with his Continental Advisory services from New York. So I feel really privileged that there are people like that who appreciate what we do and they empower me to be able to then empower others for our projects, and all the details of the project will be on Music of Armenia's website. So just, if people go to www.musicofarmenia.com or just Google Կանանց երաժշտական միամսյակ or whatever, they can find out more about it. So, and it's just one of the projects that we do. I'm sure you're familiar with Sayat Nova Festival, Sharakan Festival, which we do at Tate Monastery, Yerevan Duduk Festival. Yeah. So, coming back to just with one sentence back to being a woman, I don't particularly see it as a factor. But there are times when I'm very happy that I'm a woman because I think it's more beautiful to be a woman. And I probably wouldn't. Yes, I have more stuff to play with. I probably wouldn't want to be a man. Although maybe next time. I'd try everything. Why not?
Okay, I have a question here. What
Go.
would you change about yourself?
Only one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to be more patient. I'm working on myself. It's getting much better. But as Elizabeth Tyler said once, I have quick reaction to bullshit.
Okay.
Talking about Elizabeth Taylor.
I thought talking about the PS.
Oh, no, I'm not going to go there. No, I'm not going there. Which actress would best portray you if there was a movie about you?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I've never
you mentioned
thought
Elizabeth
about
Taylor,
it
so-
in my
This is the right
life.
time. Things happen in the
We need to
studio.
brace up, ladies. This is a teamwork.
Okay, come on. You
This
have
is a
dark hair,
teamwork.
and you and
My
and,
ultimate favorite is Julia Roberts.
Okay.
Okay? But I don't think she would be. Maybe Salma Hayek because
Yeah,
we
that's
showed
what I was
it,
gonna
right?
say. Yeah.
Maybe Salma Hayek.
Penelope Cruz.
No, she's too tall. You know Eva Longoria from Desperate Housewives because she's also short.
yeah.
Maybe she would
Salma
have.
Hayek, I like.
But I know that I have what is it called? Double. You know the.
Yeah.
I have a few in Bollywood. I know that for sure because people have approached me in London, calling me Priyanka or whatever, and I've googled her. I do look a bit like her, but yeah, maybe she would be from Bollywood.
Let's stay with
I mean,
Salma Hayek.
I was talking about more as in character-wise.
Character-wise, I truly would not be able to tell you because
You have homework.
I have I do or you do because this you put me in trouble. I've got to prepare for Karadziresh Takamiamsiak. Okay, I've got
Come on,
stuff to do.
forget. It's
I'm
gonna
going to
be.
go now
it's
think
gonna be
about
great.
this, not that.
Right, who would play me? And then I will send you a message on Facebook. I don't
By the
know.
way,
Who do
you will
think?
have a minute of revenge here because you will have a question to ask us. Think about it.
I've been thinking the whole time if I get to be
Yeah.
fire questions here.
Yeah, so
you know?
so think about it.
You
We have
really want to
another
give her that chance,
10
Ina?
minutes.
You really want to give her that chance?
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
You,
okay.
you
I
sound like
trust
you're
her.
scared.
I trust
know
her
me.
with
No, I'm just asking.
You
You
know
know?
me. Come on, it's me.
because we haven't asked her yet the question about the guilty pleasure.
Oh, that's right. Does she have any? I don't know.
Okay, go ahead and answer this.
I refuse to talk to you two about anything about me anymore.
This is a girl talk, and
Of
and
course
we're
it
here
is.
just
Of
relaxed. and
Nobody's listening.
Yeah,
Of course,
nobody's.
there's
We have
nobody,
switched
right?
off everything. so
Yeah,
just-
because of course, your radio is like going bankrupt, right? Nobody even knows about you, right?
no.
People haven't even discovered YouTube,
Knock
right?
on
YouTube is
wood,
going
what is
down
she talking
too.
about?
Okay.
We are
Knock
not
on-
gonna translate this. Bite black.
Yeah,
This is something anti.
It's the first time I heard this in
it's
Armenian.
some kind
so.
of. Ina would know. You
Black people
But I trust
wouldn't
you,
understand
ladies, so
us
I know where you're going.
the right way. Bite black. Okay.
I'm wondering whether I've successfully.
Okay,
managed
Okay,
to
you
let's
see
go
what
back
she
to the
did? She
answers.
You see what she did?
I
She
did
just,
exactly.
yeah,
She
I
is
mean,
very-
I tried.
she took a U-turn.
The secret passions, the guilty pleasures. Go ahead.
Man.
Man in black.
I didn't hear that. No, I didn't hear that. What did you say?
I like men. I like men who are intelligent, quiet, stable, and balanced,
Kind,
kind
and generous.
and generous. You know, a kind of man that
Do I?
barely do I
We don't
men
know
that
such
barely
people.
speak, but when they do, they leave you speechless. You know, that
Okay.
kind of man. You know, takavot. You know,
Can
a
you give a
king.
couple of addresses? I'm writing them.
I think if she has the addresses, she wouldn't be giving them out.
Sharing is loving. Come on, Rina.
Yeah,
You know,
of
sharing is
course.
loving and caring. All for my nation. Everything for my nation. I would do everything for my nation.
That's wonderful. I'm glad you're here.
Okay,
But that
now
is not a
everybody know.
guilty pleasure. We were
Yeah,
talking
it's
about
not
this.
even-
It's not a guilty
Okay,
pleasure.
in that case, my guilty pleasure is definitely sweets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my tombstone will be saying she died of cake.
Okay.
Literally.
I
literally.
don't see anything like this.
It's better than saying something else.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear listeners, this is a lie. Okay, because it's impossible. Because I love desserts. Okay, here you go.
That's why I brought you the sweets. I knew
Yeah.
you would.
Yeah.
So this is what she does: feeds all women around, so she stays skinny.
She feeds them not only with sweets, you know.
and the rest
Music of
will
Armenia
just
is
gain
kind of
weight.
feeding souls.
That's the real empowerment there, right?
Okay, we just discovered the universe within Hasmik tonight, I think.
Yes, and now we're gonna give her the chance to ask us questions, just to kind of discover what she wants.
I'm gonna get right back at you. You just
Yeah,
wait.
sure, go ahead, because it's like 7 more minutes to go. and
Yeah,
we're
don't worry.
open.
That's enough time to cause proper damage.
Yeah, and we trust you. Just
Okay. What is your guilty pleasure? You were saying about.
I don't want to repeat what you just said. So.
come on, aren't you just so creative? Be more, some new questions and
Right. Does it have to be naughty, or we're sticking to
anything. Well, anything that
Hold
really
on.
interests
Before I
you.
ask questions, can I actually take some time to also praise you? Is that allowed?
Sure.
Sure. Okay.
So she's gonna ask us really
Let's hold
difficult
hands.
I'm
questions.
not asking questions.
That's why
yet.
she's gonna praise us. In the
Yeah, I'm buttering you up. I'm buttering you up.
Okay, let's hold hands, Renata.
No, this is great stuff. Okay, so we mustn't forget, okay, that this is a powerhouse, okay? Ina is a great lyricist,
Oh, thank you.
John.
and Rena here obviously is a talented musician. Jazz is the best, and now she's also host of a TV show, radio show. And so, ladies, I'm proud of you, and I'm happy that you are doing what you love without letting anybody kind of stop you from what you love. And I know how difficult it was for you, because you have just moved here from Syria, leaving your country, your home, your everything, with kids and everything. And I don't want to take all the credit for women for what I do, because there are people like yourself that that I surround myself with, that it also gives me energy. And also knowing how much you appreciate what I do is very motivating. So, and there is no tricky questions. I'm just saying, I'm not buttering you up.
We're
You
like-
didn't go to.
What is coming?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, what's next? But are you currently working on a new song?
Yes, but yes.
Oh, that's an
I
easy one.
am.
No, it's not easy, because it doesn't have anything to do with Eurovision.
Well, I already have written some
I know,
lyrics
that's why I'm asking again.
for one of my friends who is participating in Debi Evratesil.
Okay. Selection,
Yeah,
whatever that is,
selection.
yeah.
Selection. And well, and I hope that he succeeds, and I hope that he will have fun there, because number one thing for him right now. Jom, good luck, by the way. So this is what he does right now. He just wants to have fun participating,
That's great.
and he doesn't have really this goal to go and reach the Eurovision stage. But why not? Yeah,
Why not? Of
course,
course,
but
yeah.
still, he's just enjoying the process.
If he's going, you're going.
He's doing the.
And I'm coming. And Rena is coming. We're all
Well,
going.
I've been there in 2015.
I wasn't with you, so that doesn't count. Right?
I might be going with my daughter, because she also wrote a song that is participating.
I'm at the
in
right
Tebi.
place. Whatever
Yeah,
happens,
that's
I'm
it,
going to
so-
Eurovision.
So,
Okay, I have a question. What is coming next? Are we going to do some project together?
Yes, the 10th
Okay.
anniversary.
Okay.
yeah. We
10th
have to do that.
anniversary. We're doing it together.
Okay, it's your project, but what about?
We have to
We have
brainstorm.
to brainstorm, exactly.
Okay.
But you're not escaping a question.
Okay.
You're
I'm here,
not.
I'm here.
What I want to know is, and it's kind of like you kind of don't have a choice of an answer. I want to know that you're never going to leave Armenia.
Actually, I have already made that decision,
Yes.
and it's no way.
Exactly.
I'm not
We
leaving.
all have to come back. I think we should all come back. It's so cool to be
Yes,
here,
yes.
right?
And
make a
I'd love to
change.
encourage others to see Armenia with the eyes that I see and to feel the energy that I have felt
Yeah,
in this beautiful country.
it is beautiful. Very welcoming, right? This is home for us.
Yes, but I also think that people like us do have that the responsibility to inspire many others.
True.
Yes,
we
that
can't
is
just,
very-
give
yes,
up or whatever.
yes, that's very important. Through music, through our work, through everything.
That's
It's up to
beautiful.
us.
I'm happy to
Hasmik, do
hear
you
that.
have any phobias?
Do I have any phobias? Oh, people say you never give away your fears because people can use it against you. But yeah,
Okay.
We
but
won't.
heights.
We won't.
Heights. For some reason. Heights. I don't know.
Okay,
It's
I
scary.
don't think that somebody will take you
So
somewhere
Ararat,
high in the
to Mount
mountains. Yeah, and they say, okay, tell me. Tell
I
me
was
your
actually
secret.
thinking about the 10th anniversary, on the rooftop
Okay,
of
cancel this version.
skyscraper.
Where? I mean, you know how we already have a thing called terrace concert series, and we do it on top of the, I don't know, am I allowed to name a hotel here, or is that advertising? It's at the terrace of Doubletree by Hilton. We do it in the summer, open air on the terrace. So I already am on
So
top of a
she's
skyscraper.
kind of
We're
trying
gonna have
to
to go
overcome
higher.
her phobias over there. You know?
Okay, I think we'll work on it after the show because it's over.
Oh well, what can I say?
That went fast. Went
Yeah,
very
Yeah,
fast.
that was.
It was fun.
Oh well, but the best thing about this thing is that we're creating bigger and bigger networks, and
Of
that
course.
this is not the only place we're communicating. So,
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah.
so we'll keep in touch, of course, and look forward to all the projects that are coming up with the Women's Month and the 10th anniversary, and of course our own project.
Of course, we're going
That
to
we
Eurovision,
can
of
think-
course,
Yeah.
and with our project.
Thanks for being here.
Yes.
Thanks for having me, ladies.
We really enjoyed it, really, and it was fun.
It was
Likewise.
wonderful.
And good luck in everything you do, and hope that we'll see you again. This was Homesick at Home, our English-speaking show, and have a great weekend. Right, Rena Jam?
Yes.
Bye-bye.